Weight training. Weight training is very satisfying. You pick something up, put it down, and the number on the bar goes up like it's proud of you. And honestly, it works. But some of lifting's downsides don't show up until your body gets surprised outside the gym. Most weight training happens in straight lines. Up, down, forward, back. That's perfect when you're facing a mirror, but real life is messy. Slipping on ice, twisting to catch a falling box, or turning too fast when someone calls your name. These motions all happen sideways and off balance. You can squat a small car and still move like a shopping cart with one bad wheel. There's also a point where lifting more weight quietly stops being better. Moderate strength training helps your heart, but long, heavy sessions, stacked week after week, can stress it instead. You feel powerful and disciplined, while your heart is in the background waving a tiny white flag. That gap shows up fast. You can deadlift a fridge, but get winded walking up more than one flight of stairs. Or you might get too big and not be able to reach that sticky note on your back. And as shoulders and arms grow, sleeping can get strange. Nerves get squeezed, hands go numb, and you wake up checking if your arm is still connected to your body. Weight training builds serious strength, but it can change how your body moves through the world if you're only building mass and not working on flexibility. Calisthenics. Calisthenics looks like freedom. There are no gyms or machines, just someone floating upside down like they don't believe in gravity. It looks effortless until you dig deeper. Bodyweight training builds insane control above the waist. Pull-ups, dips, levers, all impressive moves only Superman can pull off. The catch is that legs don't always get the same challenge. Squats and lunges help, but without extra weight, the muscles that drive sprinting, jumping, and carrying heavy stuff can lag behind. You can float on the bars, then struggle the moment you need strong legs. Progress can also stall quietly. Once you can do lots of reps, body weight stops feeling heavy. Strength gains slow, and the only way forward is harder skills. That's where things get risky. Miss the bar on a 360 muscle up or lose balance, and suddenly the workout turns into a surprise meeting with concrete. Because skills look cool online, people train them often, even when tired. Wrists, elbows, and shoulders take the hit, and fatigue hides behind the one more try mentality. Calisthenics rewards control and confidence. Just remember to listen to your joints and avoid hitting the floor at all costs. Running. Running feels simple. Shoes on, step outside, move forward, repeat. And that simplicity is exactly why it works, and why some of its downsides sneak in unnoticed. Running trains one movement extremely well. If your form is solid, great. If it's slightly off, that tiny mistake gets replayed again and again. Knees, hips, and ankles take the hit on every step, and the body doesn't complain right away. Over time, that can lead to runner's knee or shin splints. That's why running injuries love comebacks. Even after pain fades, the movement pattern that caused it often sticks around, so runners feel fine, return to training, and somehow end up rehabbing the exact same spot months later. Progress can also turn sneaky. Many runners follow the famous rule of adding mileage slowly, yet still feel drained, moody, or constantly under the weather. Tissues like tendons and bones adapt slower than motivation does, and enthusiasm usually wins that race. Running feels smooth, until the same step has been taken a few thousand times too many. Martial arts. Martial arts train focus, discipline, and the ability to stay calm when things get intense. After pads get hit and the gloves come off, everyone bows and goes home feeling sharper, but some of the trade-offs don't show up in bruises. Not every hit to the head knocks you out, but each one still makes the brain shift slightly inside the skull. Over time, those small, nothing impacts add up. Fighters can train for years feeling fine, only to notice later that memory, mood, or focus isn't quite the same. The danger isn't the big hit. It's the hundreds of small ones nobody counts. Most fighters also favor one stance and one side with the same kicks and punches. Power grows fast, but unevenly, and joints on the dominant side take more wear. Especially in grappling arts, joints often get pushed just past their comfort zone. While everything seems fine at the moment, the joint quietly remembers. Over time, repeated facial contact can change how the nose, jaw, and ears handle impact, affecting breathing, hearing, and balance long after the swelling fades. Just look at any professional boxer or UFC fighter. They've all got cauliflower ear from countless strikes to the side of the head. In martial arts, bruises fade fast. The quieter stuff doesn't. Swimming. Swimming looks like the calmest workout imaginable. You're floating, gliding, and barely making a sound. And that's exactly why some of its trade-offs stay underwater. In the pool, your body is supported the whole time. That's great for joints. But it also means your bones don't feel much stress. Bones need pressure from the ground to stay strong. When you float, that signal never really arrives. Your muscles and lungs get fitter, but your skeleton is basically on vacation, especially above the waist. Swimming also asks a lot from the shoulders. Thousands of strokes mean thousands of rotations, day after day. At first, it's just a little soreness. Then certain strokes start to pinch. Many swimmers adjust their volume and keep going, not realizing the shoulder has been quietly wearing down the whole time. Fitness can feel a little misleading too. Water slows your heart rate, so effort feels high even when the demand is different. That's why strong swimmers sometimes feel oddly out of shape the first time they run. Add in hours indoors breathing chlorinated air, and the easy workout gets more complicated than it looks. And let's not forget the obvious. Humans can't breathe underwater, so there's always the chance of drowning. You should only swim when there's a lifeguard on duty, whether that's in a pool, at a lake, or in the ocean. Swimming feels weightless, and some parts of your body take that very literally. Rock climbing. Climbing makes adults behave like kids on a playground. Everyone's smiling, jumping around, and covered in chalk. That's why it hides some very specific costs in places you don't expect. Climbing turns fingers into power tools very quickly. The problem is, fingers aren't just muscle. They're tendons and tiny connective bands that don't toughen up as fast. So while your grip feels stronger each week, the tissues holding everything together may still be catching up. That's why finger injuries often feel sudden, even though the stress has been building for a long time. Climbing also trains pulling almost exclusively. Hanging, locking off, squeezing, all great skills, but pushing muscles often get ignored. Over time, this can pull the shoulders forward and create imbalances that show up as nagging shoulder discomfort rather than obvious injury. Bouldering adds another layer. Short falls feel harmless, but repeated awkward landings can slowly reduce ankle stability. Nothing dramatic happens until ankles start feeling unreliable and you get that one bad fall that breaks a leg. And don't forget about the dangers of climbing outdoors. Without the right gear, falls can lead to serious injuries, and climbing with no gear at all can lead to an outdoor demise that you didn't plan for. Climbing feels like play, but your hands and joints remember every move. Yoga. Yoga looks peaceful. Calm music, soft lighting, everyone moving slowly, like nothing could go wrong, and that's exactly why some of its downsides sneak in quietly. Yoga is great at making joints more flexible. The problem is flexibility can grow faster than control. If strength doesn't keep up, joints start acting like loose door hinges. They move smoothly, but not always where they should. For some people, especially those already bendy, this can lead to aches that feel mysterious because nothing ever felt too hard. The spine can take a similar hit. Deep forward folds and big back bends ask the spine to move to its end range again and again. Most days feel fine. Then one day a nerve gets irritated, or the lower back suddenly doesn't like tying shoes anymore, and back pain kicks in. Age matters too. Bones lose density over time, but yoga poses don't adjust for that. A stretch that feels relaxing can quietly overload a spine or hip that's less sturdy than it used to be. Yoga also skips a lot of pulling strength, which can leave shoulders feeling oddly cranky beneath all that calm breathing. Yoga stays calm on the surface, even when joints are working overtime underneath. Tennis. 2 players, or 4 players if you like playing doubles, in one court. This sport looks balanced until your body shows you a different story. In reality, tennis is incredibly one-sided. One arm serves, swings, spins, and snaps thousands of times. The other arm mostly watches. Over time, the hitting side gets stronger and tighter, while the rest of the body slowly falls out of sync. Shoulders rotate differently, posture shifts, and joints start handling forces they weren't meant to manage alone. When everything works, power comes from the ground up. Legs push, the torso turns, and the arm just guides the racket. But when legs get tired or footwork slips, that chain breaks. The shoulder and elbow step in to make up the difference. That's where familiar problems start showing up, especially tennis elbow, basically from years of small overload adding up. The stop-start nature of tennis adds another layer. Quick sprints and sudden stops keep ankles working non-stop, slowly chipping away at stability. Wrists take their share too, absorbing the snap of every shot, especially during fast rallies. Tennis looks graceful, until one side of your body starts feeling like it's been doing all the chores. High-intensity interval training. If you want your exercise to feel like being in the club, HIIT is a great choice. Loud music, high energy, and everyone jumping around, and then the last round arrives. HIIT asks you to move explosively while already exhausted. Early on, form is decent. Later, it becomes creative. Knees cave in on jump squats. Burpees turn into a loose suggestion of a push-up and a collapse. The problem is that the body keeps practicing these sloppy movements while tired, and the nervous system quietly memorizes them. Without a basic aerobic base, the body burns out fast. breathing spikes, and fatigue shows up early. That's when joints and tendons start absorbing stress they weren't ready for. Progress also moves too fast. Because workouts are short, people add more jumps, more rounds, and more days. Muscles adapt quickly, but bones and connective tissue don't. That's why injuries often feel sudden, even though the wear was stacking the whole time. Do enough HIIT, and the body can also stay stuck in go mode. Sleep gets lighter, and rest days feel restless. HIIT looks fine on the first round. The last round tells a very different story. Soccer. Soccer players get the bad reputation for flopping and diving on the pitch and rolling around in agony as if they've been assaulted, but they're not always being overly dramatic. One bad twist or turn could cause a career-ending injury. That's one of soccer's hidden problems. Many of its worst injuries don't come from getting hit. They come from moving too well. Sharp cuts and sudden stops put huge stress on the knee, especially when the body can't slow itself down fast enough. Everything looks normal, right up until it isn't. This shows up even more in female players. They play the same game, but their knees experience different forces when they decelerate and change direction. The injury feels sudden, but the strain has been building quietly through thousands of practices and matches. Hamstrings add their own twist. Once strained, they have a habit of feeling tight forever, even after they heal. Soccer is still a contact sport. Poorly timed tackles combined with spiked cleats can cause broken bones and some serious scrapes. And don't forget about the potential for concussions from colliding heads. Soccer rewards flow and instinct, but sometimes the cost shows up in a moment nobody saw coming. CrossFit. CrossFit looks like organized chaos. Barbells flying, timers counting down, music loud enough to remove doubt. Everyone starts strong, convinced today is the day they hit a personal record. The tricky part is that technique doesn't love being rushed. Olympic lifts like snatches and cleans take years to learn well, but CrossFit often asks for more of them when you're already exhausted. As you do more reps under fatigue, the form becomes less sharp and a little more strange. Then there's recovery. CrossFit trains everything at once: heavy lifts, gymnastics, and hard cardio, often several days in a row. The body gets stronger, but it rarely gets the rest it needs. Slowly, soreness becomes background noise, and minor aches feel like a normal Tuesday. Sometimes the push escalates. In rare cases, muscles break down faster than the body can clear the damage, leaving people feeling deeply unwell days after a workout, instead of just tired. Add the group energy, and it's easy to ignore early warning signs. Cheering helps you finish the workout, but it doesn't always help you stop in time to prevent injuries. CrossFit builds impressive capacity, and the hardest part is knowing when the workout should stop. Pilates. The slow movements and quiet rooms make Pilates look like a wellness retreat, which makes it extra confusing when someone with an iron core struggles to lift a heavy grocery bag into the trunk. Pilates is excellent at training control, especially deep core muscles that keep the spine steady. The trade-off is that most movements are small and supported. You get very good at holding yourself together, but not always at producing force. So the core knows exactly what to do until the arms and legs are asked to move something heavy. Another quiet issue is repetition. Pilates works tiny stabilizing muscles for long periods, often in the same positions. Nothing feels intense, but those muscles don't get much rest either. Over time, this can turn into nagging neck, shoulder, or low back discomfort that feels mysterious because class never felt hard. And in studios that focus heavily on toning, body awareness can slowly turn into body monitoring, which isn't relaxing for everyone. Pilates makes you feel strong and stable until a heavy box shows up with no reformer attached. Golf. No sport looks more relaxed than golf. Slow walks, quiet conversations, no rush. Sometimes you'll even see golfers drinking beers or smoking cigars as they play. Clearly this can't be a sport. But all of a sudden, your lower back starts sending alarms. The golf swing is all rotation, and almost always in the same direction. One twist, thousands of times, spread over hours on the course, and even more at the driving range. The swing still feels smooth, but the spine is doing repetitive work. It was never designed to repeat all afternoon. Nothing hurts right away. It just adds up quietly. When hips or the upper back don't rotate well, the lower back steps in to help. It twists harder, more often, and under more fatigue. While your shot still flies, the back slowly gets stiff, sore, and always too tight for no clear reason. And despite all the walking, the heart barely gets challenged. There's a lot of standing around between swings. Golf feels gentle, which is why the lower back keeps the score quietly. If you like this video and want to learn more about the human body, check out these other videos.